Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Thank you for tuning in and catching this. Today we've got a very special guest coming with his quintet, which we're going to hear about. Plus, he's got a colorful background. He's played for a number of major celebrities, including Elton John. Make that Sir Elton John. For years he played with him. He also had the opportunity to work with Bonnie Raitt and Luciano Pavarotti and Billy Joel, Bob Dylan, Sting, to name some major artists I see associated with him and that he's collaborated with. It's a pleasure to welcome and have a conversation with the talented multi-instrumentalist John Jorgenson. Aloha and mahalo, Brother John.
Aloha. Thanks so much, Dave.
And I appreciate it. It's really nice of you to take just a couple minutes for me before you hit the islands. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We're really looking forward to it. I haven't been there to play with my quintet ever, so this will be our first time over to Hawaii, and so all the guys are really looking forward to it, and we just think, and the theater, I've seen the website, the theater is just beautiful.
The place you're playing is just one of the, we're fortunate here in the islands to have a few nice venues here in Honolulu, and that certainly is one of them. Now, have you been here to play ever before or into the islands? What's your history with the islands?
Yeah, I was still in college, and my father was a conductor of, he was a music professor at the college that I went to school, University of Redlands in Southern California. And he brought his, what he called his studio band, which was kind of like a jazz big band, over to play. And it must have been 1976, maybe 77.
Wow! So you haven't been back since then?
No.
Oh, this is huge.
So, and I was so young then too. I was college age, and we didn't really get to see all that much because we didn't have a vehicle, and we were kind of with the school. So.
And that was here in Honolulu. You were on Oahu.
Yeah. Yep. We are we got to see a little bit of the island, but really not that much. So this time, we're really looking forward to being there. And also, we're going to play over in Maui as well on the day following, on the 5th, following the concert in Honolulu.
The MAC?
Yeah, exactly. The McCoy Theater is...
McCoy Studio Theater.
The MAC, yeah. I think what happened is somebody heard about this show coming up and said, gosh, if they're going to be all the way over here, maybe we could get them over to Maui too. And, of course, we would love to see as much as possible. So, fantastic, Yeah, no, that's a good thing. So that's going to be the 4th here, the 5th on Maui. Yep.
Are both of your days here going to be essentially the same show, or are they going to be different in any way?
The shows are always different because I kind of judge what we're going to play by the audience reaction and kind of by the vibe. They'll be definitely similar because, we have a particular repertoire and our whole style is influenced by Django Reinhardt and his French swing. But we have a lot of other kind of international elements, a lot of Eastern European gypsy music, Latin, flamenco, classical, even funk. There's a lot of world music influences. I play the bouzouki, which is a Greek instrument, as well as the guitar and also the clarinet, and sing a little bit. Most people, when they say world music, they think of mostly like reggae or African music. But I consider this world music just because the elements come from so many different places around the world. So that's what our audiences will be hearing. And
the show that's here on Oahu, the 2nd annual Django Would Go Music Festival show, is that going to be, are you going to try to do things more in the spirit that maybe Django would have done them?
Well, we do that, definitely. We always include that element.
Good.
Because really that's sort of, he's the godfather of our style. So definitely we always include some classic Django-style swing.
That'll be happening.
Django was very influenced by American swing, so we'll play some of that as well. The New Orleans style swing. So yeah, it gets across a really broad area stylistically.
And we'll come back to Django because I have another angle on that I'm curious about. Because you have a really amazing resume. How did you get the Elton John gig, and how different was that gig from the things you had done previously?
Well, I got it because Chris Hillman's wife, Connie, had worked with Elton's management company for many years. And so Elton's a total music junkie, and he knows everything about everybody's career. And so he knew about Chris and heard the Desert Rose Band's first album and really liked it. So we were doing a gig to promote our second album, the release of it, in Hollywood at the Roxy. And Lyle Lovett was our opening act. And in the audience was Nicolette Larson, Dave Edmunds, Bruce Hornsby, Stills, Bernie Taupin, and Elton John, among, and my parents. Elton saw me at that show, and I must have stayed in his mind because I met him after the show, and he was very complimentary. And then every time I saw him, I'd see his shows a few times, and he always remembered my name and asked me what I was doing, And I became friends with his guitar player, Davey Johnston. And I figured that sometime I would do some recording with him or something, But then I kind of lost touch, and, life kind of went on, and I completely forgot about it. And it wasn't until 6 years later that he called me and asked me to go on tour with him. So you just never know.
I see Bob Dylan mentioned on your Wikipedia page. What's the connection to Bob?
Well, that is because in the 90s, late 80s or early 90s, I did some recording and some live shows with the Byrds, with the original Byrds, David Crosby, Roger McGuinn, and Chris Hillman. And one of the shows that we did was a Roy Orbison kind of tribute concert after Roy Orbison passed away. And I was lucky enough to have gotten to play with Roy Orbison as well. But on that concert, I kind of heard a little rumor that maybe Bob Dylan was going to be sitting in with us. And sure enough, he did. Of course, I'd seen that photograph on the back of the Byrds' Mr. Tambourine Man album of Dylan sitting in with the Byrds at the Whiskey in 1965, So I just had that. I had that vision in my head, and I was like, I can't believe I'm here on stage with the Byrds and Bob Dylan. There's been so many of those moments that I just kind of went, really?
I also like some other heavier bands, and one of those bands, their guitar player was very influenced by Django Reinhardt. Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, he was the guy.
I was thinking you might say Tony, and that was, they're like obviously, the prototypical heavy band, definitely. And I've never met him, but I did a gig not too long ago with let me think of everybody, with Rudy Sarzo and Carlos Cavazzo and Vinny Appice.
Oh, Vinny's the man. I know Vinny and Carmine well.
Chaz West.
From Bonham.
That's the only time we played together, but okay. The two songs that we played were The Mob Rules and an Immigrant Song.
Nice.
So it was really fun, because the idea was pick a Sabbath song and a Zeppelin song. And the thing, of course, about Tony Iommi, the thing about him that's...
The fingers.
Django is the fingers, obviously. Yeah. Kind of the way I look at both of those guys is like that music was in them, and it was going to come out, regardless of what happened to their hands.
Yep.
And they both figured out a way how to do it.
Innovatively, too.
Exactly.
I interviewed Iommi a bunch of times, always in person, and I don't have video of it this one particular time, but in '99 on the reunion tour, I was sitting with him in this trailer after the show, and I had the good sense to bring up the hands, and so he told me that, he's told the story a gazillion times, but I got the story told to me while sitting there looking at them, talking about the fingers.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
That's amazing.
Dude, you rock. You got a lot of stuff that you're into. Obviously, I'm very, very impressed. And I high-five you.
Thank you so much.
Well, maybe when you're in town, maybe I can stop by the gig and record a short interview or something with you.
Oh, that'd be great.
And I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, you can go in a lot of places too, which is really cool. Because often people can't.
Very kind of you, dude. Be safe, my brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Aloha.
Bye.